This video is about the RTX 3060, which launches today. It should go up for sale at retail about 3 hours after this video goes live at 6 a.m., although we're not expecting the retail stock to last very long. I wanted to do something different than the typical launch day benchmarks video today, though. I want to talk about the PC building experience and what it is like now versus what it should be like. And then I will fire the card up, play some games, and show you guys the real world performance. Part of the reason I'm doing it this way is because I actually didn't have a driver during the only time I really had available to run benchmarks on this card. Press drivers to test the RTX 3060 weren't shared with us until 4 days before launch, and that's because NVIDIA's Austin location was affected by the deep freeze that so many in Texas and central US states experienced last week. So before anything else, if you guys are able to help with the recovery efforts for people in Texas, you can donate via the link in the description at feedingtexas.org. Beyond that, I'm going to take a quick look at this card, and then I'm gonna, like I said, fire it up and play some games. I'll post timestamps in the description so you guys can jump ahead to that if you want, but the games I'm playing today are Microsoft Flight Simulator, Doom Eternal, Apex Legends, and Overwatch.
Excellent!
The Lian Li Unifan SL120 is revolutionary, not just because the blades spin in circles, but because Lian Li has created interlocking fans with a simple quick connect module, which makes installation way easier while reducing cable clutter in your case. Feed power and lighting to up to 16 fans per controller, then customize your setup with the 14 RGB modes available in their L-Connect software, or simply sync the lighting with your motherboard. Set and adjust speed curves for the 1900 RPM fluid dynamic bearing PWM motor here too. The SL120 has an aluminum frame and is available in black or white, so click the sponsor link in the description for more. So before we begin, I would like you to just sit back and relax. Clear your mind and try to forget about the stupid current situation with graphics cards and other PC hardware shortages and the fact that you just can't buy anything for a reasonable price right now. Imagine there's no such thing as cryptocurrency, or just that people can mine it with carbon capturing puppies or something instead of GPUs, and that you, an eager PC gamer, have about $1,100 to spend on a new gaming PC. You do your due diligence and you come up with these parts. A solid $150 B550 motherboard, 16 gigs of DDR4 3600 memory for about $90, a $100-ish 1TB M.2 NVMe SSD, an $80 case, and a $70-ish 650 watt bronze rated power supply. You need a CPU, so you grab one of the best gaming chips out there right now, the 5600X, for $300, which brings the total up to about $800. So finally, you spend the remaining $300 on an EVGA RTX 3060 Black Edition graphics card, and just because this is a fantasy, it's just in stock and you can order it, and it arrives in a few days with the rest of your parts. Now guys, I hate to have to deal in the realm of the theoretical or hypothetical what-if kind of statements, but I think it's important to remember what PC building should be like, even if we're not sure when we'll return back to a comfortable normal stock situation. For my part, I will continue to recognize that fact, and I'll try to find a balance between showing you guys the hardware that comes across my desk and championing that return to normalcy scenario however I can. Here's a quick look at the stats for this GPU though. It's got the same core architecture and support for things like ray tracing, DLSS, and NVIDIA Reflex as all the other 30 series cards that have launched, with 12 gigs of GDDR6 this time around and a 1777 MHz default boost clock. This specific Black Edition EVGA card has a dual fan cooler, an 8-pin power connector, 3 DisplayPort outs as well as an HDMI 2.1, and no RGB lighting to speak of whatsoever. That's kind of refreshing, but it's also what EVGA has been doing with their Black Edition cards for some time now. There's also no backplate to speak of on this card, although the PCB is a nice matte black, and it does have the airflow pass-through at one end that has kind of become a regular feature of these 30 series cards. It's also just 8 inches long. Time to play some games though. My test bed isn't exactly the same configuration as the build I rattle off for you guys there, but it does have a 5600X installed and the same 16 gig DDR4 3600 configuration, so the frame rate and other stats that you'll see on screen would be very similar with this setup to the build I just described. I'm capturing video with a separate system, so all the gaming PC is going to be doing is gaming and running hardware info and Riva Tuner to show you a stats overlay. I'll be setting a timer and playing 5 to 10 minutes of each game at each resolution, which we will then cut down so you guys can just see the fun parts and get an idea of the performance that you might expect. I'll try each game at 1080 and 1440 and possibly 4K as well if it seems like the 3060 can handle it. So let's get started. First up, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm at 1920 by 1080. We're at ultra quality, and I have VSync turned off so we can get maximum frames. So I think I'll just jump in and do a few more landing challenges. Maybe let's try epic. Let's try epic landing challenges because that sounds exciting. And why not head over here to Lukla in Nepal. Up in the top left corner, you can see some statistics on screen that should update. There's the CPU stats, the frequency and the temperature. There's the GPU stats, also the frequency and the temperature, and the frame rate of the game that we're playing right now, which is currently jumping between 49 and 52 frames per second. If I recall correctly, this allows me to spot the runway. I have no idea where the runway is that I'm supposed to be aiming for right now. Aha! I see it. I've located the runway. And we're still maintaining upper 40s in terms of frame rates, although we are getting down to low 40s at times, depending on... Oh, we're down to the 30s now. I should slow down. Oh, geez. Here comes... Oh, no, I crashed. No, wait, no, I didn't. The whole game just froze. Okay, there I crashed. What? I crashed. That's fine. Oh, look here, it shows you a preview of what you're supposed to do. I should have paid attention to that. Since it doesn't take much to see what frame rate you're getting in this game, I am now jumping to 2560 by 1440. And now I kind of know where I'm going too, so that should help. Flight Simulator is a game that you can really tell they were focusing more on how it looked than getting high frame rates. Since you're in a plane, the type of fast movement like would be required in a FPS is not quite needed. So that's why frame rates in this game are generally pretty low, and you need a pretty high-end graphics card like something like a 3090 or 3080 to even get yourself up into the 50s, especially if you're talking about 1440 or 4K. You can definitely tell that the frame rate has dropped though. Now that we're at 1440, we were getting as high as about 50 FPS at 1080. We've only been as high as the low 40s now, and we're hovering more around the mid to upper 30s. I'm coming in a little hot, a little hot, a little hot. Up, up, up. Kill the engines. I got this. Oh, I bounced. All right, well, I touched the ground there, so that was an improvement. Might as well give it one more pass at 4K. I know the text in the top left has gotten pretty small there, but I will keep you up to date on what it is. And even though I'm capturing all this at 1080, I can at least tell you that at 4K, it looks a lot sharper. That's definitely noticeable. And it's actually taking advantages of the capabilities of my monitor. In order to do all this, I'm playing on a 4K monitor that's only 60 Hertz, so I'm making that sacrifice for you guys. Not that the refresh rate matters too much when we're only getting about 18, 19, 20 frames per second at this resolution. All right, I'm gonna try to get my altitude down a little bit here. I'm coming in hot again. All right, engines. Low. Oh, don't stall, don't stall. Oh no. Alright. I landed. No, I didn't crash, I landed. Alright, well obviously I need to expand on my flight training and do a few more landings in those small aircraft, but that's at least a quick look at the type of performance you might expect from an RTX 3060 in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, some Doom Eternal. We're at 1920 by 1080, HDR is off, and we're using the Nightmare preset. So for Doom Eternal, I'm going to just set a timer and I'm going to play for about 5 minutes and we'll see how things go. We're at 1920 by 1080, so that means we're aiming for high frame rates here, and we're already seeing in the 180s and up above the 200s, depending on what I'm doing, of course. So it's immediately evident to me here is that if you were rocking, say, a 1080 monitor that was a higher refresh rate, like 144 Hertz or that range, anywhere in the mid-hundreds, there's several that's like 144 or 160, you'd be pretty happy with this GPU combination, because as you can see, we're often getting well above that. Should pick up ammo. Isn't there more ammo over here somewhere? What brilliant person over at ID decided, like, you know, if you run out of ammo, the best solution would be that you have to use the chainsaw to hack open a demon, and then of course that would drop a bunch of ammo, because naturally demons are full of ammunition inside and other goodies. That's been a decent sample at 1080. Let's see how the 1440 monitor owning people would be treated by this particular card and game setup. So at 1440, just as expected, we have a frame rate drop, a little dip. It's not too bad so far, but we are down to the 130s and 140s. We haven't had too many large swings since we're out in the open right now, so I think this is probably among the lower frame rates in this game, depending on the location you're at. Sometimes when you're inside and you're playing in a more enclosed space, you'll get higher frame rates because there's not as much to draw or not as much draw distance. Oh, it's the stupid scorpion. I hate the scorpion. You go away, scorpion thing. All right, his weak spot is, so you gotta get him next to the explodey barrels. And then you use the explodey barrels to explode him. Alright, retreating and back. Oh, he's up. He's following me. No, I wanted to hit the explodey barrel. He moved away from it. Oh, he's gonna die. And fall down and die. No. Jump. Climb. Climb. He's right behind me. Oh, finally. Finally. I'm gonna pull your brain out, or no, I'm gonna jab your claw into your eye. See, nice thing about running into the big scorpion, it makes me completely forget about monitoring frame rate and stuff like that. We're still in the 140 to 160 range, it seems. I guess it's also worth pointing out the GPU temperature, 68-ish right now, and that's maintaining a frequency that's right in line with the advertised boost clock of 1777. And now let's jump to 4K and see what kind of performance we get there. Again, the text and the overlay scales with the resolution I'm using, so it gets smaller as I go to higher resolutions. But right now, you can maybe see it's less. It's a lot less frames. We're now down to the 70s and 80s. I was shown a secret gateway to a special weapon up here that I definitely need to get as soon as possible. There we go. Ooh, ooh. Here's the interesting thing for me, testing at the different resolutions and with the different frame rates and everything like that. My frame rate is less now. It's actually gotten down towards my monitor's refresh rate of 60 hertz. But even though the monitor's refresh rate is 60 hertz, and there shouldn't really be that much difference going from something like 180 FPS down to 120 or down to 70 or 80, I notice it. It feels choppier, it doesn't feel quite as smooth, and there's another scorpion trying to kill me, so no, I'm gonna take you head on this time. Aha! Crunch. Okay, that's better. So even though I am noticing more sharpness and everything, and everything's crisp with the 4K resolution, I think if this was my gaming setup and I was trying to choose what to do, I'd probably stick with something like 1440. And you can definitely do that if you get a 4K monitor. You can play games at lower resolution and get yourself some more frames. All right, guys. Well, there's a quick tour and a bit of gameplay in Doom Eternal. Hopefully, you guys now have a better idea of the type of performance you might see playing this game with this card at 1080, 1440, and 4K. So I think now we can move on. All right, guys. Apex Legends now. Resolution is 1080, and you can take a quick look at my advanced settings there. VSync is disabled as usual. And because I rarely ever play Apex, I brought in Joe, because Joe's super good at it and awesome. And so I'm now joined by Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, instead of dying within 5 minutes, I die in 15. So
well, that's nice. It's very
I am better in that sense.
There's so many more different heroes you can play as now. All right.
The new character is Fuse. He's Australian. It's funny.
Does he say Grant a lot?
I'm leaving that in the video.
I mean, from my understanding, that's part of
it's like saying hello, friend.
Australian culture and heritage, right? On the immediate drop, we're getting a frame rate above 100 FPS, 115 to 125, I'd say, and we'll see if that goes up or down when we get down here to ground level. We are getting more frames now that we're down on ground level. We're actually right at 144. So again, that's crazy. The frame rate is really not moving at all. It's just stuck at 144. That's not very normal. All right, I've gone and done some research on the fly here, and I've determined that 144 is actually the max frame rate for this game because it's a competitive game and stuff like that. So that kind of makes some sense. All right, so after determining that 144 hertz was the peak FPS I was gonna see, I looked up and figured you can remove that. Yeah, there's a game launch parameter you can do that removes the FPS cap. However, we're in the middle of a game, don't want to do that. So I've just switched to 1440 now, and at 1440, we're still getting close to 144, but we're not quite hitting it. We're in the 110s and the 120s so far.
All right, let's go shoot some mofos. I think they're up here. Just pray and pray, pocket.
I mean, I can aim and shoot if I see someone. Oh, I see activity down there.
They're burning in there, haha.
He's up in the air. I hit him once. Behind you. I died. We were eliminated. But we attacked. That's the important.
I want to see this.
The important thing is that, we made a decision, we went in and attacked.
Hey, you got 60 damage, all right.
I did, see? I wasn't useless.
All right, load up quick. There's a people behind us,
There's people behind us?
Don't worry there. You can kick their ass. Oh, have you been shot at?
I can't tell. Having no audio is not helping me at all. Are they shooting at me?
Yeah, get in here.
No. They're coming after me. Oh.
Did
Did you kill him?
Got one. Kill him, Paul. Kill him, Paul. That's all you. Go ahead. Get a freebie.
Yay! I got a kill.
Here. He's weak. He's weak.
Where?
Okay.
I lost track.
I
I have no idea what's going on.
Down on the first floor.
First floor? Oh, you're down.
Yeah, he's weak. You got him. You can shoot him. You got him.
Dang it!
Let's see if I can
Knockdown
make
shield. I'm down. So we're gonna die now, right? Oh, are you back
No,
up?
I'm still up.
Yay!
See, they're coming.
I totally forgot to be looking at the. Oh, dang
I
it!
almost got him.
Ah, so close. But hey, you know,
You killed someone.
we killed someone. That was successful.
Yeah.
I dealt some damage.
Funny.
I also want to point out we were getting higher frame rates there. So you guys were probably seeing we were getting above 144 hertz where it was capping before, into the 150s and 70s and 80s sometimes. So we're going to jump into one more game and I'm going to try out 4K. We'll see how it performs there.
What are your graphics settings? Are you on low, medium, epic? What are you doing?
It is, most of it's set to high, actually. Do you know how much, like, more frames you get by switching to medium or low?
I always play at low on everything.
That's because you play with all the, like, pro gamer FPS methods.
I mean, like, the game goes so fast, it's not like you can sit around and enjoy the ambient occlusion or anything like that. So it's like whatever, you know?
All right, we're diving in on our next map, and we're playing at 4K. So in the initial dive, we're getting around 70 frames per second. And one thing I wanted to point out is that our settings here, in terms of video, we're going with mostly, like, high settings overall. So you can definitely get a better frame rate by changing some of those to medium or low. There are more frames to be had if you would be okay with getting up some graphical fidelity. All right, guys, we're pretty steady across the board, around 70 frames per second, sometimes getting up into the 80s like here when we run inside and there's not as much to be shown. Pretty solid overall for this GPU at 4K. This is not necessarily a 4K graphics card overall, but it's probably a little bit better suited to 1080 or 1440, but it's nice to know that you can handle that. And Joe is offering me a ride. Nice.
Get in! Damn it.
Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
Someone's here. You ready for this, Paul?
Where are they? Over here?
They're around here, I heard them. Yeah, I think someone's using my back market. Oh, they're over here.
How do you... I have no idea where I am or how to get out of here. Oh, I'm being shot at. They got
I
there.
found you.
Oh, I shot a person. Oh, I'm down.
Don't worry, Paul. I got him.
Joe, save me, Joe. Did you take him down?
Oh, you almost went down.
He's coming through the cafeteria. He's over here by... He's inside in the cafeteria on your right. In there on the right there, yeah. Get him, Joe, get him. Oh, behind you, Joe, behind you. Oh, dang it, sorry.
Funny.
Other dude dropped down from above. Well, hey, you know, I feel like we were very successful playing this game.
You got 60 again. How do you do that? You get like consistency 60.
That's the trick, you know. It's you got to set a goal, and then you hit that goal, and then you don't do any more damage beyond that.
All right.
Trying to do as much damage as the refresh rate of my monitor. All right, next we're gonna try Overwatch. That's a game I actually kind of know how to play. Oh, what is our team doing?
No, I fell.
Did you fall? You can totally fall on this one. I feel like this actually isn't 1080. I feel like this is 4K. All right, let me see. Unfortunately, all right. So I've basically been playing at 4K this whole time. I just switched to actual 4K, and I'm actually getting a better frame rate than supposedly it scaled 1080. Even when I set it to 1080 in windowed mode or whatever, it's still 4K. And I think that, like I said, is because of the pass-through situation and stuff like that. Yay, we won! We won, it makes everything worth it. So I actually ran out of time and had to cut off Overwatch, so you've only seen 4K footage so far, and I was also having some issues with the resolution and my capture setup, but I think I fixed that now. So now we're looking at 1440, and I have managed to also switch it back to full screen. All right, other than that, the settings are pretty much the same. So we are still going with 100% render scale and the Ultra preset like I showed you guys before. So immediately here at 1440, we can see many more frames. We're getting well above the 160s, 175 max, and my team is dying. I need to pay attention to actually my team as well as not dying. Maybe killing that dude. Ah, wait, coming at me? I'm Zarya. I bubbled. So now we're just spawn camping them, so it's nice. It's nice to feel like I just jumped into the game and made a difference. And it's nice to also have figured out that stupid resolution issue that was causing. The way I fixed it, in case you guys are wondering, is I just changed the entire system's base resolution, which is forcing it to be 1440 because it's not allowing it to do 4K at all right now. My team seems to be safe, so I'm going to jump over to 1080 now. All right, I have now dropped back down to 1080, as you can see. I just a few moments of time that it took me to do that, and suddenly my team needs my help again. And we're pushing them all the way back to spawn again. But hey, look at that frame rate. We've jumped from like 170s up to 240, 250, 260. So this is a great example of how this particular graphics card might perform in a game like Overwatch at ultra settings. And this would be but this is hopefully a good example of, like, for anyone who wants to play faster paced game like this at 1920 by 1080 with a high refresh rate monitor. 240 hertz, I feel like, with Overwatch, especially if you're setting up something like G-Sync, because that'll help you handle the dips below 240 hertz better. I guess it's also worth noting that since I kind of restarted here, the GPU temperature also dropped back down, which is also probably why we're seeing a bit of a higher frequency, jumping up from the high 1700s into the upper 1800s. 1890 megahertz is what we're seeing peak. But guys, I think that's about all the time I have for the Overwatch here. I'm gonna finish this game out, of course. Can't abandon my team, and hopefully we win. Die, Lucio, die! Oh, I died. Dang. No, stop them! Ah, we lost. I tried. That's the important part. All right, guys, that's all the time I have for today, but I hope you've gotten at least a better idea of what the performance would be like with the RTX 3060 if you happen to be able to get your hands on one of them. What I think will be revealed in the coming days and weeks is whether or not NVIDIA's attempt to curb the effects of cryptocurrency mining with the 3060 is going to have any effect or not, whether there are enough of these cards on the market to sustain any kind of MSRP at a retail location for any period of time, or if they're all just going to be snapped up and immediately relisted on eBay or other sites like that for $1,000 plus. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that today along with you all, and as I've done in the past, since I haven't done cross comparisons in today's video, I will pull up a few other videos that pop up today or written reviews, and I'll put links to those down in the video's description if you'd like to get a second or third or fourth opinion on the performance of the RTX 3060. While you're down there, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. And also, there's a link to my store, paulshardware.net, where you can buy merchandise with thumbscrew logos on it. It's very good merchandise. It's a very good thumbscrew logo. It helps support me and my channel, so thanks to you guys who have bought stuff. Thanks to you who have just watched this video. Thanks to you guys who have engaged by clicking all those buttons I was talking about down below. That's all for this one, though. We'll see you guys next time.